Present.
Mr. Welch,
Present.
Mr. Parrott,
Present.
Mr. Downs,
Present.
Mr. Keller,
Present.
Mr. Haneke.
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have nobody on the phone for public participation, and I have no slips at this time. Real quick before we get started, a couple updates on the audio equipment. Worked with Chief Adams last week. If you're watching the broadcast on Channel 5, we've made some adjustments to the equipment, which should have resolved the lines that are on your screen. You shouldn't see them now. And we have increased the sensitivity on the microphones to ensure that people can hear what's going on as we're speaking, and on the TV behind us for others that will be speaking. Just a reminder to please speak into your microphone so everybody can hear you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, which consists of payment of bills, approval of minutes, August 3rd, 2020, regular city council meeting, August 11th, 2020, committee of the whole meeting, August 17th, 2020, regular city council meeting, August 25th, 2020, committee of the whole meeting. And consists of the mayoral appointment of Emily Schreiber to the Civil Service Commission, as well as the mayoral appointment of John Mammon, Eileen Mullins, and Sonny Alexander to the Economic Development Grant Program Commission.
Move to approve. Second.
Alderman Keller made the motion, Alderman Hoyneke second. Discussion? Alderman Bateman.
On subject D, with the appointment, I'm assuming that the other people that's on the council and the city administrator that's on that grant approval process, I'm just wanting to assure that Sonny Alexander would recuse herself from voting if she is the selling broker for the building involved, because I just don't want there to be the perception that she's the selling broker and she would have a vote to approve a $7,500 grant for building improvements. So I'm just hoping we would take that in consideration when those come forward.
Yeah, and Alderman Bateman and I talked about this earlier today, and he brings up a very good point with this. And I believe if we wanted to do something formal in writing, we could, but I believe that city representation on that commission, there's a few of us on there, we could make sure that we reiterate that when these items come up. Make sure these conflicts are made aware to everybody. Any other discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Mr. Haneke,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. Keller.
Yes.
Okay, next item up is 6A, the resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code, authorizing the expenditure of $38,300 from the Rebuild Illinois funds for Heitman Drive improvements.
Move to approve.
Second. Alderwoman Horn made the motion, Alderman Downs second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Haneke,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott.
Yes.
Okay, next item, 6B, the resolution establishing a 3% raise in salary for the city administrator retroactive to July 17, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Parrott made the motion, Alderwoman Horn second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Haneke.
Yes.
Okay, next item up is 9A, approval of purchase and installation of a new outdoor warning device at a cost not to exceed $1,305.92.
Mayor, if I will,
After we make a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Alderman Bateman made the motion, Alderman Parrott second. Chief?
I didn't want you to have to rescind it. That's why I wanted to interject. The motion should be for the purchase of the telephone pole and installation of the telephone pole. You've already approved for the purchase of the outdoor warning device and its installation. This is for the telephone pole that it goes on and to put the pole in the ground.
I would rescind my second.
Alderman
I'd
Bateman.
rescind my motion.
And then we'll need someone to make a new motion.
Make a new motion with the words installation of pole for the new outdoor warning siren.
Purchase of a pole and installation.
Purchase of a pole and installation for the new outdoor warning siren.
I'll second.
Alderman Bateman made the motion again, and Alderman Parrott second again. Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Haneke,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
yes,
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Welch.
Yes. Okay, next item up is 9B, approval of payment of invoice number 900-98246 from Union Pacific Railroad for Fifth Street Road Engineering Services in the amount of $678.38.
Move to approve. Second.
Alderman Hoineke made the motion, Alderman Keller second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Haneke,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
yes,
Mr. Bateman,
No.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Downs.
Yes.
Okay. Next item up is 9C, approval of expansion of the Fourth Street, Decatur Street overlay project in an amount not to exceed $6,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Alderman Bateman made the motion, Alderman Downs second. Discussion?
It's very much needed. Anybody that's drove 4th Street.
Agreed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mr. Haneke,
Yes.
Mrs. Horn,
yes,
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott.
Yes.
Item 9D is next. It is the approval of proposed for codification services from general code in an amount not to exceed $2,240 with an annual fee of $995 thereafter.
Move to approve.
second,
Alderman Hoineke made the motion, Alderwoman Horn second. Discussion? Alderman Keller.
Thank you, Mayor. I know there was some discussion in the public I've seen on social media about this, and I think some misunderstanding about the purpose of what this does for the city and what it does for the citizens of the city who want to access information. So I don't think we necessarily need to rehash everything that was discussed last week, but if somebody could just kind of summarize again what, for the public who are watching, what this program and this amount will do for the city and what this is about. Thank you.
I can take a stab at that. So currently, we have a codification service on the city's website, and when this council or any council takes action and modifies an ordinance, creates a new ordinance, et cetera, that gets what's called codified, and that goes on the city website. So then you can later log in, you can reference that code to make sure that you are getting the most up-to-date legal information on how the city of Lincoln operates. We have had a specific vendor for quite some time. That vendor has gone through some changes. We believe that we can do better and provide a better service to the city. So we took a look at other codifiers. We had General Code give us a demonstration on that. General Code can provide all of the services that we currently get and then many more, which not only help the citizens find things in a more timely manner, but also help us as we're trying to manage the operations of the city. So we did the demonstration, we liked what we saw, and we are presenting that to the council for consideration.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Haneke?
Yes.
Okay, item 9E, approval of the consolidation of Logan County Tyler Technology System with Sangamon County with the annual cost of $1,667 with a possible 3 to 4% increase each year. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Alderman Welch made the motion, Alderman Hornicky second, Alderman Bateman.
This question's for Chief Adams. Is the 3 to 4% did you learn anything from Sangamon County? Does their service go up 3 to 4%? So they're not raising our rate. It's because their rate goes up, which in turn our rate goes up.
That's correct, Alderman Bateman. Essentially, we're at the whim of Sangamon County when it comes to those increases, because whatever is passed down to them, they're just going to pass that down to us in regards to increases. So if it's 3%, great, but if it's 4%, we're kind of stuck with that 3 or 4%. So, but this is a huge savings compared to what we were paying. So, I mean, we were paying, I think it was $13,000 we just paid this last year. So, $1,600 is a huge savings. Now, got to keep this in mind, it's not up there on the thing, but this next fiscal year, we're going to have an outlay of upgrade costs, et cetera, conversions, et cetera, that will come with this. But after that, it'll be $1,667. So it's a good price to pay for what we're getting.
And this is city and county. Sheriff Landers is also on. Okay.
Yep, the county has already moved forward voted on this and approved it, and the ETSB has also approved it also. So they're just waiting on the city to approve on our side, and then we can move forward with that project.
Alderman Hornicky.
Another question, Chief. Is there any language in that gives us any kind of heads up notice if they decide to change companies and we have an option to get out and go with another company ourselves? I just didn't know if like 2 years, a year from now, they'd say, XYZ company we're going to go with and it's going to be $2,800 a year. Then now we locked into that, or?
Well, no, we would, we would have to do, actually, it's going to be the county that's going to do it. The county's going to have a letter of understanding between Logan County. They already have a letter of understanding. They just have to amend it to put this into there also. So essentially, we'll be under that letter of understanding. Those could be revoked at any time. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Haneke?
Yes.
Mrs. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to announcements. I do not have anything. Are there announcements anybody would like to share? Alderman Keller, do you have an update on the census where we're at?
Yes. Again, the self-enumeration process has ended. They did a study, and 81% of the people who responded to the census responded through the mobile app or up through the computer, as opposed to mail-in, which is the traditional way to respond. So again, the process now in these months is going door to door. Second notices have been sent to any residences that did not respond to the first time. So that will be completed through the next, I think that will continue through the next month. Again, the schedule that was originally put forth has been pushed back a little bit because of COVID. But other than that, they're on track. And so when the responses are sent a second time, there'll be another enumeration process going door to door. And then that will all be completed by the end of the year.
Thank you.
Treasurer is 19%.
The 19.
The 19 percentile.
Mayor, I'll just
Keller.
add to that. Again, another plea though, since I have the microphone talking about the census, if you have not responded and you don't know where your form is, just go to census.gov and they'll walk you through the process of how to respond if you have not done so. But it's very important to respond to the census.
The only other announcement I got is just continuing to watch the numbers of positive cases in Logan County. Not going down yet, they're still going up. So please remember, when you're out in public, be respectful of the businesses that are trying to operate and the people around you. Wear your mask, sanitize frequently, and practice social distancing for yourself and the others around you. And that's all I got. Anything else? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Alderman Keller made the motion. Alderman Parrott, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 7:17 PM.